All right. Something else that's talked about quite often when it comes to gardening and growing your own food is something called crop rotation. And I believe it's something that's very important, and yet sometimes it can be maybe a little bit overrated. So what crop rotation means is basically that you will put different types of plants in different locations in your garden, and you rotate them so that they all get a new fresh spot every year. And there's plants that are really hungry. They're hardworking plants, and they're hungry, and they feed heavy. And if you put them in the same spot every year, they will get weaker, and they won't get as much as they want anymore, and then your crop won't turn out as good. So if you rotate them around, they'll have lots to eat every time they come into a new location. And then there's other plants that don't need as much, so they could come sometime in between. And then there's plants that are actually the opposite. They are very giving. They take stuff from the air, and this could be a long seminar here, but basically I'm just going to make it simple. Those actually absorb good things, and they put it into the ground, and they actually fill up the ground. For example, beans or different types of legumes. They'll actually help build up your soil. They'll put nitrogen back into the soil. So if you rotate your crops, you can actually benefit all your plants by taking out and putting back in and kind of going around like that. Now, if you have a small garden and you plant your crops very closely mixed together, and you kind of have a little bit of everything everywhere, then it's not as crucial to make sure each plant gets that other inch next year. But if you do like beds full of different crops, then it's a very good practice to have different crops there every year. And sometimes, if you have lots of land, it's okay to also let it rest some time, and then go back to it next year, and it'll be full of strength again. I don't know if there's anything else.
Yeah, and just, I guess as a rule of thumb, what I would say, like some of the heavy feeders like corn, there's others that are very heavy, but
Squash
after you
pretty heavy feeder
squashes
too, yeah.
or pumpkins, something
Right.
like that, after those things have been planted there, you could plant a bean of some kind, or a legume, or a pea, any of those in that family. String beans, all of them work the same. They help to regenerate that soil. So
Right.
as a general rule of thumb, if you plant something next year, throw your beans there. And then it'll just help that process a little bit more.
That's right.